These women in training are part of a terror group called the Al-Aqsa Martyrs Brigades. And in the strange world of the Middle East, although the group is designated as a terrorist organization by the U.S. State Department, they're also part of the Fatah Party, led by Palestinian President Mahmoud Abbas, America's designated partner for Middle East peace. Here they train in Gaza's olive groves, learning to move out as a unit. They also learn to operate light weapons, part of their training diversity. Jandal is a Martyrs Brigade's commander. She's in charge of the army of women based in Gaza's Jabalia refugee camp. And she's the mother of 4 children.
In the battlefield, I can be a soldier. And when I'm back at home, I'll go back to motherhood and be a wife to my husband.
Jandal claims to have 300 women prepared to sacrifice to kill Israelis.
Fatah was there at the beginning, and that's why I decided to follow Fatah, and to resist and be a part of al-jihad for the sake of Allah and to serve my country.
It was 5 years ago on one of Jerusalem's busiest streets where the first female suicide bomber struck in Israel, killing 1 man and wounding more than 100. She was a member of the Al-Aqsa Martyrs Brigade. Later, women suicide bombers would inflict more death, including at this Haifa restaurant in 2003, where 19 died and dozens more were wounded.
I assume that we'll see more and more women and children in suicidal terrorism, because the Western attitude toward a woman is totally different than to a man.
Anat Berko is an Israeli expert on suicide bombers and author of the book about them called The Path to Paradise. She says in Israel and the West, women can more easily hide their intention to blow people up.
Because when you're going to check a woman, you cannot tell a woman with hijab and jilbab, take off your clothes, like you do with suspect suicide bombers or potential suicide bombers. Even in the checkpoint, it's a problem.
And becoming more of a problem, as the women increasingly insist on dressing in full Islamist garb while they call on the name of the Prophet Muhammad in their work. Berko talks with women terrorists being held in Israeli prisons. She says the women have fewer problems killing children than men do.
But sometimes they are more aggressive than the male, and they said that they would like even to blow themselves up in a kindergarten, because they have a feeling that they are missing motherhood. They will not be mothers.
In fact, many Western analysts say the oppression of women in the Muslim world actually causes some to consider the life of a terrorist.
Women don't have any control over their lives or their bodies or the decisions that are most important to them as individuals, how their children are raised, all of these things. Empowering women is one of the keys to winning the fight against the global jihad, because they are one of its most acute victims.
Author and professor Michael Widlansky says that although the phenomenon of women suicide bombers has been mostly confined to the Middle East, it is a growing concern for the U.S. and Europe as well.
I think that's reason for alarm. That doesn't mean certainly that Christians and Jews and Hindus and Buddhists should go seeking out all Muslims and worrying about them. No, but I think we should be aware that there is a definite problem and that it's on the rise, not on the wane.
Back in the field, Jandal parcels out the work to her troops.
You deliver the food to the fighters. You and she will deliver the roadside bombs, B7s and Molotovs. You and she will observe the streets and movements. We may choose a few to be suicide bombers to explode their belts near an Israeli tank or Israeli soldiers.
After a day in the field, Jandal is a wife and mom again, completing her unusual cycle as a soldier of jihad. Chris Mitchell, CBN News, Jerusalem.